Hey everyone, let's just dive right into this. Welcome to today's explainer. We're analyzing a text that is deeply resonant and honestly profoundly emotional. It's all about finding your purpose during those brutal periods of divine silence and waiting. If you've been feeling exhausted or like you're completely stuck in neutral, this message was literally designed for you. We're going to map out exactly what's happening beneath the surface when it feels like absolutely nothing is happening at all. Let's get into it.
Have you ever noticed how the hardest seasons of life are usually the quietest? Think about it. There's no applause, no clear signs, no answers, just silence. The source material we're looking at today really validates that hidden fatigue you might be feeling. You know that reality of waking up tired, smiling around your friends but carrying this heavy disappointment that literally nobody else understands? It completely validates the sheer pain of praying into total silence.
And in that profound silence, the text notes that you start asking questions nobody else can hear. Questions like, God, did you forget me? You start wondering why everyone else seems to be moving forward. They're getting the relationship, the opportunity, the big breakthrough, while you're just stuck waiting. And waiting definitely has a way of making us feel completely forgotten. But the text offers a massive paradigm shift here.
Section 1. Planted, not buried. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the crucial distinction the source makes. When something is buried, it's covered in darkness, forgotten, and left to decay. But when something is planted, it's also covered in darkness, sure, but it is protected and preparing to grow. The author argues that divine silence does not mean divine absence. A seed underground looks buried long before it looks planted. So that dark season you're in, it might actually be the exact environment required to build your foundation.
The problem, of course, is the culture we live in. We are completely addicted to a fast pace. We want fast money, fast success, fast relationships, and fast answers. We expect everything instantly. But the source sharply contrasts this cultural obsession with how real preparation works. True preparation works slowly, because slow preparation is what actually creates strong, resilient people. The text delivers this absolutely powerful premise. If everything happened the moment you asked for it, you would never become who you were meant to be. The author argues that a delay is often just mercy in disguise, because success without maturity, it destroys people. A locked door or an unanswered prayer might be the exact thing protecting you from being crushed by a blessing you just aren't ready to carry yet. In fact, the author points out that people are often grieving things that would have literally destroyed them.
Section 2. The poison of comparison.
When you're stuck in the quiet, watching everyone else receive what you've been praying for, comparison creeps in. It starts asking those toxic questions. Why them and not me? What is wrong with me? It absolutely poisons your spirit. So how do we fix it? The source strongly advises replacing this destructive habit with focused obedience. It's about putting the blinders on and focusing entirely on your own unique assignment and timeline, because every single person's destination is completely different.
Think about it like this. A diamond and a flower are both incredibly valuable, but they are formed under entirely different conditions and over totally different timelines. The text offers this beautiful reassurance. Late blooming is still blooming. Some of the absolute strongest individuals are forged in the longest, most highly pressurized storms. Your timeline is uniquely crafted for what you are meant to carry. People who survive storms just appreciate the sunshine differently, right?
Section 3. Hidden seasons build public strength.
Let's walk through this timeline to see how this trajectory actually plays out. It starts on day 1 with silence, that sudden, super uncomfortable quiet. But by week 1, all that's required is simple obedience in the small things. By month 1, that obedience has built the endurance you need to survive private battles. And finally, by year 1, you get revelation. You realize how your private tears literally created your public resilience. And this brilliantly illustrates the core thesis of the author's message. Real faith is not praising God after the miracle. Real faith is trusting Him before anything changes. Trusting the process and the silence before the landscape shifts, that is framed as the ultimate definition of true, unshakable faith during life's hardest detours.
Section 4. Emotion versus obedience.
Here, the source offers a pretty stern warning against tying your faith strictly to emotional highs. So many of us demand a thunderclap, waiting for a rush of adrenaline, dramatic signs, or the perfect mood before we decide to act. But the text argues for the sacred whisper. It asks us to move forward in stillness, sober clarity, and simple conviction.
It's all about acting on the truth you already know rather than waiting for some dramatic emotional swell to push you forward.
So what does that actually look like? The source gives us very specific, actionable steps to maintain our faith during that divine silence. Make the apology you've been putting off. Set the boundary that protects your peace. Break the habit that's dulling your spirit. Remove the distraction. Have that delayed, super uncomfortable conversation. And above all, pray honest prayers. These are not grand, dramatic leaps, guys. They are quiet, practical steps of immediate obedience.
Section 5. Your hinge moment. The author uses this fantastic metaphor of a hinge. A hinge moment is defined as a seemingly small, quiet choice of obedience that unlocks and swings open massive doors of destiny. Think about it. A hinge is tiny compared to a heavy door, but without it, the entire structure fails. The text warns us against treating these small, sacred instructions as optional. The direction of your entire life might pivot on a tiny, quiet decision you make today.
The author outlines a really precise procedure to make sure you don't miss this moment. Step 1, remain in stillness without rushing back to the noise. Step 2, name the next right step clearly and honestly. Step 3, take immediate action while your heart is tender without overthinking it into numbness. This is exactly how the text suggests treating a silent season, not as a passive waiting room, but as a place of active, holy cooperation.
Which leaves us with one final, incredibly provocative thought from the source to wrap up this explainer. Will you treat this silence as a delay or as your defining hinge moment? The choice is entirely up to you.